Welcome, one. Welcome, all. It's time for another exciting edition of, you guessed it, the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And it's time for Liftoff.
T-minus 10,
9, 8,
7,
6,
5,
4, 3.
2, 1.
Let's go.
0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
You ready? Here we go. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. It's time for your favorite interactive English show here on Vaughn Radio, where we are on the cutting edge. Oops, we're starting out with some vocabulary already. We are on the cutting edge, in la vanguardia. But remember, cutting is important, edge is important, and on is important too. Because we're not in the cutting edge, we're on the cutting edge. So that on is just as important as cutting edge. So Vaughn is on the cutting edge, and I feel like we've been since Richard Vaughn started the company. And I still remember just being in awe, totalmente asombrado, like, wow, when I read the article about Vaughntown and how Richard started this, this initiative of bringing people to a town in Spain where they only speak English, and then a radio station that taught English, and then a TV station. And I said, wow. And, that's one thing that makes me very proud of this company, of this family that is Grupo Vaughn. And guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say we are on the cutting edge, we've got some awesome news. We've got a new skill, as they call it. Okay, it's called a skill. And if you guys have Alexa, you can do it right now as we speak. All you have to say is, Alexa, quiero aprender inglés. And voila, you are off and running, como decimos. And some people have said, well, I don't have the Alexa Echo or whatever it's called. I don't even know the names of the things. You'll have to forgive me. But at the same time, I said, well, I want to test it out. Quiero ponerlo a prueba. I want to test it out. So what we did was we downloaded the app. So those of you who don't have an Alexa assistant at home, you can download an Alexa app, and then you can do it via your phone. At least I was able to do that. My wife and I were putting it to the test. And speaking of my wife, I roped her in to talk somebody into it, es convencerle, but to rope her in is decir, tú, como con una cuerda, ven para acá. Le engañé, I think you guys would say in Spanish. And she helped me participate on this radio ad that explains a little bit more about what this new initiative is that we have with Amazon's Alexa. Ahora puedes aprender inglés con Vaughan y Alexa de Amazon. Solo tienes que decir,
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
Bienvenido a Aprende Idiomas con Alexa. Hoy vas a poder aprender lecciones de inglés nivel iniciación con Alexa en colaboración con Vaughan. Podrás aprender desde nuevo vocabulario a pronunciación y mucho más. Cada lección contiene secciones de práctica y de preguntas. Empecemos. Veamos ahora 5 actividades con el verbo ir.
To go.
Ir al gimnasio es.
To go to the gym.
La G de
Gym.
Suena casi como un H.
To go to the gym.
Dilo tú.
To go to the gym.
Correcto.
Eso es. Practica inglés con Vaughan y con Alexa de Amazon. Acuérdate, solo tienes que decir,
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
esto sí que es un...
Buen comienzo. Te toca.
All right, it's your turn. That's right. You know what you have to say. Just speak it into your phone, or if you have Alexa connected or hooked up in your house, you'll be able to learn English with Alexa. And I was having a lot of fun with it. In fact, I was telling my wife too. I said, "Screw it up on purpose. Cágalo aposta." Say my heart. I want you to really. I want to see if it really catches the pronunciation. And it did a great job. So check it out. All you have to do is say the magic words, and that is Alexa, quiero aprender inglés. And I'm whispering it because I know many of you have Alexa at home, and I imagine you're not going to do it right now. I imagine right now you're tuned into the show with no name, and you're eagerly anticipating your first challenge. And your first challenge of today is our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. That's right. It is our pop quiz only on the show with no name. And as I told you guys, I've been getting tons of messages. I've been getting them since I started doing the show, since I started having some kind of presence online. I've been getting tons of feedback, tons of messages from you guys, my amigos. And all I've got to say is they are magical. Keep them coming. Que sigan llegando los mensajes. And you have two options. You can, maybe if you don't feel comfortable speaking, because if you want to speak, as you guys know, you can send me a voice message. Keep it under a minute. We don't want to get too crazy. But you can send me a voice message just saying hello and telling us a little bit about yourself. And then, if you want to participate, well, then we can go a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. But I urge you all to participate, whether you write it or whether you want to, as I said, leave a voice message. And remember, the only thing that's going to happen is we're going to help you. We're going to applaud you. And as you know, we're all on your side. Todos estamos de vuestro lado. We're all on your side. Creo que se dice así en español. Maybe I'm making that up. We are all on your side here. We are cheering for you. We are rooting for you, as we say. All right. So, my amigo, speaking of these amazing messages, well, first, I'll tell you what, let me give you the pop quiz. And then what we'll do is I'll play one of these messages for you guys that I got from one of your fellow students. But let me give you the pop quiz. And this way we can get rolling. Nos ponemos en marcha. Okay, the pop quiz today comes from our great friend Kyle Miller, the host of Drive Time. Welcome to Drive Time with Kyle Miller. That's right, folks. It's Drive Time with Kyle Miller. You can catch it on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, download our free app. And this way you can take Vaughn Radio with you wherever you go, wherever you are. We will be right here waiting for you. Anybody from my generation catch that one? I don't even remember. Who is it? Bryan Adams or something? Sounds like a Bryan Adams song. All right. Well, folks, we're not here to look at songs, not yet, at least. We'll look at songs later in our Name That Lyric section. But this is a translation that came from my buddy Kyle Miller, and he looked at it on his show, Drive Time. Kyle's got a wonderful book, too, called Business English. And well, he's involved on so many levels here on Vaughn Radio. He's not just a Vaughn Radio presenter, but he's got materials. He lends his voice to projects as well. And here's his translation for you guys. Diles que le digan que venga aquí. All right? So that's a tough one. I think that's even a tough one for me in Spanish. Diles que le digan que venga aquí. I don't think that wouldn't come out naturally, at least for me. Right? All right. Also, while you guys are thinking about that, let's listen to what our friend had to say. And as always, I like to change the names. I like to protect the innocent, as we say. But we'll need some epic music to get going. There it is. All right. We're going to call our friend Paco. Why not? I change people's names, but it's one of your fellow students. I can guarantee that. This student says, "Hi, Alberto. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for not being able to listen to your program lately. No worries at all, Paco. I get it. I finally encouraged myself to write my kind of memories on my experience with celebrities. Back to when I worked as a press reporter." Sounds exciting. As a press reporter, you meet a lot of celebs. "This is taking me a while, but I'll definitely be back to listening to you and to most of your radio presenters." That's glad to hear it. That's wonderful news. Actually, I had spoken about meeting famous people, but I had never thought about writing about it. And for instance, you once encouraged me to write that book. Really? I don't even remember. That's why it's always good to just keep encouraging people. And he says, "You encouraged me to write that book. I remember I said to you, I might. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, I took it seriously. And here I am, just about to finish it." That's amazing news. You're making your dreams come true. And I don't even remember encouraging you. That's great. He says, "Well, you know why I have suddenly disappeared? Because it's taking me time. But Arnold Schwarzenegger said once in one of his movies," great sense of humor here, "I'll be back. Good luck and take care. Nevertheless, I listen to you as much as I can, Alberto. I hope you all three are okay. God bless, Paco." Again, I've changed the person's name, but isn't that amazing news? I mean, this is somebody who has made one of their dreams come true. And also, not just making your dreams come true, but chronicling your life, especially if you did something interesting where you met a lot of famous people. That is awesome news. Congratulations to our buddy, Paco. All right, let's check out our comments over in our chat room. Let's check it out. We've got Salvador. Salvador says, "Greetings, classmates and Alberto. I'm ready for another exciting English class." Awesome, Salvador. I hope I can deliver. Born to Iron Man says, "Hi there, folks. We're ready to have a blast. Let's dig into our daily show with no name dose. Dig in, a comer. I love it." German says, "Hello, guys. If you're ready for some jaw-dropping expressions with double A, you're welcome to this show. Neato. Jaw-dropping. There's another totally native. Wow. Surprising. Jaw-dropping. Se te cae la mandíbula. And neato. Eso es de la generación de mi madre. Julie. I like it. I like it. Just the fact that you know it. Let's see. Germán also says, would you like some El Cheapo cookie cutter cookies? Great vocabulary, Germán. Yeah, cookie cutter is corta y pega. No? Se puede hacer galletas. There's nothing special. Nothing that stands out. All right. Who else is on board? There's Lemura. Lemura says, good morning, Alberto and friends. Let's go. Awesome, Lemura. Chris says, hiya, Alberto and mates. Very, very native. Hiya, hiya. Laura says, good morning. Wonderful show with no namers. Let's have a magical time together. Let's turn that frown upside down. Guys, there are totally natives left and right por todas partes. Turn that frown. A frown is a sad face. And if we turn it upside down, we get a happy face. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Germán. Germán says, I'm kind of shy. No he dicho kind of, porque ya sabes, nosotros muchas veces cogemos ese of como a. I'm kind of shy. Tímido. But I would like to send you a voice message, double A. Well, do it. Do it. No one's going to laugh at you, man. And if they do, they'll have to deal with me. It says, I've never had an Instagram account, though. Well, you can send it another way. I don't know. You know, I guess there are other options. I don't know them. But where there's a will, there's a way, Germán. So, or maybe you can, I don't know. I'm no expert here, but we'd love to hear from you. I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone. Let's see. There's Monse. Monse says, morning, guys. Alexa says, good morning to you, too. So, Monse, you were testing her out a bit? Well, let me know, guys. As you know, not just myself, really. I can't do anything with the feedback, but if you give me some feedback, I can pass it on to the right people, right? So let us know. Let us know what you think. As with everything new, you know, it's there's a process behind it. All right. I see we've got Laura participating in our pop quiz, which today was sponsored by my buddy Kyle Miller. And it was Diles que le digan que venga aquí. All right, Laura, let's see what you got. Laura says, tell them to tell him to come here. That is totally correct. Tell them to tell him to come here. Let's see. Germán, tell them to tell him to come here. Perfect. There's Lemura. She got it as well. To tell Chris Valrol got it as well. Monse, Oscar, Born to Iron Man, and Jaime. And guys, this is incredible. How many people participating, and everybody's nailed it. I'm dead serious. Great job. Great job. There's my dad. What's up, Dad? We were expecting you. He says, good morning, Alberto, friends and family. Greetings from Greenwood Lake, New York, the capital of the world. See, I learned a lot of stuff with my dad, but geography, because according to him, it's El Marchal de Lubrin, Greenwood Lake. So, you know, I had some problems in geography class when they asked me, what's the capital of Spain? You know, I'm joking. What's up, Dad? From the capital. Hey, wherever you are is the capital of your world. You like that expression? I know you'd love that expression. Wherever you are, it's the capital of your world, your domain, como decimos. Oh, Born to Iron Man. Thanks. I misquoted that song. I said it was Bryan Adams, but it's Richard Marx. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. That's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Chris says, Laura, I can't imagine anyone with a frown while listening to the show. By the way, I know perfectly this student. He told me you encouraged, te falta la de, Chris, him to write this book. I thought it was a great idea. Chris, I knew you would know who it was. Toma, estamos con mucha indirect speech hoy sin querer. El pop quiz, right? I knew you would know who it was. I knew that you knew that I know who, right? Se puede dar muchas vueltas ahí. So, Chris, we are on the same page there. Yes. Nihad says, a little hello and lots of love to start your day. Have a beautiful morning and an amazing program on the show with no name. Thank you for existing, Alberto. Well, don't thank me. You got to thank my mom and dad. I had nothing to do with it. You know, I'm just existing because, well, I was born and I got no other choice. Chris Valrol says, I like your way to get geography, Don Diego. Yeah, my dad's interpretation of the world. Laura says, exactly, Chris. Listening to Double A and all of you is going to turn any frown upside down. Oh, yeah. Oh, and guys, by the way, before I forget, I also wanted to send a shout out to our amigo, Rosalin. You guys know Rosalin. He's joined us many times. Well, I went by the office and I found a package, a care package with beautifully wrapped presents and a card that was not just for me, but it was for all the Vaughn radio presenters. So, Rosaline, thank you. That was very, very thoughtful of you. Apúntate esa, eh? Write that one down. Thoughtful, detallista. That was very, very thoughtful of you, Rosaline. I don't know if you're here right now, but I did write to you on YouTube. And thank you. I've got to say, I'm flooded. I'm so lucky because I'm constantly flooded with inundado con, no? I'm flooded with gifts, amazing comments. And, you know, the same way you guys say that I encourage you. Well, when I get these beautiful, thoughtful gifts from my daughter, I'm not saying you have to send me gifts, but it shows me how much you appreciate it, you know? And Rosaline bought 3 gifts. I think there were in there. I got confused because I also got some gifts from my friends at the U.S. Embassy. So, man, I guess, that's karma. I try to be a generous person. I try to encourage people. And then, one day I go into the office and like, hey, Alberto, you got 5 packages here and none of them are bills. Ninguna son facturas, como debes tanto. Because normally when you go down to your mailbox, what happens? I owe this for the electricity company. I owe this to the, oh man, that's a big bill. These are called utility bills, by the way. When we talk about these basic things, heat, water, all these things, these are your basic utilities. A lot of times you'll see those when you're looking to rent an apartment. Utilities included, utilities not included. That means either your bills are included in the price or you pay your utility bills on your own. So thank you, guys. Even not just the material stuff. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a material guy. I am a material guy. I'm not. But just the comments, I feel so lucky. And sometimes I feel like I don't even deserve all the love you guys give me. So thank you so much for that. It's truly, truly touching. And it's truly, truly magical. Also, I wanted to remind you guys that if you can make it to Madrid, it would be great to see you on the 1st of February at Roll Madrid. It's 8:30 p.m. It's our next trivia night, and it's hosted by Richard Vaughn, the one and only Richard Vaughn. As you guys know, we'll all be there. I'm definitely going to be there. In fact, I already confirmed. I wrote to him and I said, Richard, I'll be there with bells on. Do you know this expression? With bells on, con muchas ganas. Well, I hope you guys will be with us in the second part of today's show with bells on. That's right. Apúntatela. It's a good one. In fact, I'm going to write it down for my videos on social media. I hope to see you in the second part of today's show with bells on, con muchísimas ganas. We'll be right back, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. So much to do, so much fun to be had, so much English to be learned. Don't miss it, too. We've got great programs all afternoon here on Vaughn Radio. Right after the show, you've got Jules Linares and her hit show, Let's Get Random, followed by Rob and Andy's lunchtime show. Then you got Tash Pasqua and her show Back to Basics. But don't let the name fool you. Not everybody can hack it. Aguantarlo. Tener madera. To hack, como hackear. Can you hack it? We'll see. Tune in today at 3 to Back to Basics with Tash Pasqua. Also, remember, Tash Pasqua participated recently on my podcast, FYI, for your English. In fact, a lot of my Vaughn Radio amigos participated. If you haven't heard those episodes, there are 2. They are on radio. You can find them wherever you listen to your Vaughn podcasts. Oh, yeah. iVox, Apple Podcasts. Oh, and my favorite, or at least the way you guys say it, Spotty. Lo he visto en el Spotty. El Spotty. I love, you gotta, if you say something a lot, you look for a shortcut. Un atajo. But we're not looking for shortcuts here on the show with no name. But folks, it's time for the first challenge of the second part of today's show, and that is Say What? Say what? What? That's right, amigos. That's right, it's our Say What soundbite. Everybody grab a pen and grab a notebook. All right. Have you got a pen? Have you got a notebook? All right. Well, then you are ready for today's Say What soundbite. Remember, you're going to hear this soundbite 4 times. The first 2 times now, I just want you to give me a general idea. I want you to give me the gist of it in your best English. And I mean, I want it to be beautiful English, immaculate, impeccable English. All right? That's what I'm looking for. As I said, no shortcuts. No quiero atajos. Then, by the end of it, some of you can do it on the 3rd listen. Some of you, it takes you 4 listens. Some of you don't get it. Either way, the important thing is to make an effort. You have 4 shots, and this is your first listen of the Say What soundbite. Please write down what you hear.
You have disgraced yourself, and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria. And see that he puts on some decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly.
All right, there you go, folks. Somebody with a high-pitched voice. No, the exact opposite. High-pitched is this, like Mickey Mouse. So this is a deep voice, but I won't say too much more because I like to hear what you guys have to say. All right, so I'm going to play it for you a second time now. I'm just giving you a minute to jot down what you heard, and then we'll listen to it a second time. Okay, is everybody ready? This is the Say What soundbite for the second time.
You have disgraced yourself, and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria. And see that he puts on some decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly.
All right, there you go, folks. I heard some background noise as well. And the good thing, I mean, I think this person really pronounces things very clearly, right? I don't think the person, is cutting their words at the end. I think the person speaks quite clearly. So I don't think you'll have too much difficulty. I could be wrong. I love it. All of you are saying how sweet Rosaline is. Yeah, absolutely. Rosaline. We say in English, when somebody gives you a gift, you can say that was very thoughtful, muy detallista, or you shouldn't have. No tenías que haberme comprado nada. You shouldn't have. All right. But hey, I love it. In case you guys didn't see it, there are a few things. He got some stuff for Lara and also a Wizard of Oz poster, which I love it. I love it. Plus, I got an apron, delantal, from the U.S. Embassy with the symbol on it and a pin. So really cool. Really cool. Again, I feel so fortunate. It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one. Let's see what you guys had to say here in our virtual chat room. ESD, Mr. Positivity, says, good morning, teacher. Hello, classmates. Let's have another great lesson, shall we? I agree. ESD. I think everybody else is on board too. All right, let's see. This is today's Say What soundbite and your analysis, what you guys heard. Jaime says, someone is punishing somebody to Astoria. Maybe it's a film. Great. Jaime, you got some good information there. That's a very important word there. Astoria. And something about punishment. Yes. You know what? It's short, but it's sweet, but it's right. Short and sweet. Al grano. Someone is punishing somebody to Astoria. So you're going, normally when I got punished or when I got grounded, otra forma de decirlo, I was sent to my room. But this person's being sent to Astoria. And what is Astoria? My dad can tell you what Astoria is very well. When my father moved to the United States in 64, was it that? 64 one? I think he went with the Beatles. They all went together. They shared a plane. No, I'm joking. but my dad lived in Astoria. My dad lived in Astoria, and that's in Queens, in the borough of Queens in New York City. So, hey, that sounds quite possible. I'm sure my dad's ears perked up when he heard the word Astoria. It's a part of his history, part of his historia. All right. Let's see. Jesús says, it sound. La S lo vamos a quitar de it y lo vamos a poner con sounds, right? So it sounds like, it sin S, sounds con S. It sounds like a very deep voice talking about punishing anyone. I don't know about that last part. Castigando a cualquiera. I think it's more specific. Maybe I think they're talking about punishing someone. So anyone is cualquiera. Someone is alguien. I think that's what you meant, Jesus. I'm not too sure. Let's see. German says, I heard a menacing robotic voice. Oh, interesting. Interesting observation. Robotic. I heard a menacing, amenazante, threatening, menacing. This is really good vocabulary. I heard a menacing robotic voice threatening someone for no reason. Spooky. Que da miedo. Great words, German. Let's see. ESD says it sounds like a man scolding another person. Great word, ESD, to scold, to reprimand. You really to punish, right? So it sounds like a man scolding another man and teching them to take a bath and telling them, I imagine, and telling them to take a bath. Yeah, I heard something like that too. ESD. German. German says maybe it's Alexa's husband. Could be, German. You're on fire today, buddy. What did you have for breakfast? An English breakfast? Let's see. Monse says, it seems an annoyed, doble N, Monse. It seems like an annoyed American actor talking to someone and giving them instructions on where to go and how to dress up. Yeah, it sounds, I'd say you're right. There's something about getting dressed there as well. My dad says, 1963, I always lived in Queens. I knew it. I had a feeling. All right. 1960. I said 1964. I was close. But Astoria. I knew you would recognize that name there. Let's see. Lemura says, I heard a man scolding someone. Great word, guys. I heard a man scolding someone and trying to find a way to solve the problem that he or she caused. Great. Lemura, wonderful observations. Chris, I heard a man, an American man. I love it. You even sound like a detective, Chris. I heard a man, an American man. He speaks in a forceful way. Yeah, forceful or powerful too. He's got a booming voice. And he says something about someone that has to be punished. And I think I heard the word thoroughly. I think you've got a good ear, Chris. You nailed it. Great job. Let's see. Laura says, I heard the deep and serious voice of an American man punishing someone in a way that doesn't seem like a really harsh punishment to me. Laura, excellent, Laura. You caught that irony that this is a really nice punishment, right? He's punishing someone, but if you listen to the punishment, it's, wow, okay, punish me. So Laura, really good that you caught that there. My dad says Astoria was an ideal place to live. 15 minutes from the city center. I do love New York. Oh, I have so many of my friends that live in Astoria, and you've got some great food, Greek diet. I mean, really, what do you want to do? What kind of food do you want to eat, and how close do you want to be to New York City without being, in Manhattan, which brings the price up. Everything's expensive there, but Manhattan is, I would say, even untouchable. So that's why Astoria, being so close and being more neighborhoody. You go to Manhattan and it's city. It's city as metropolis as it can get. And you go out to Astoria and you have streets with kids playing. So it's a very different vibe, very different energy. And I guess that's what makes it such a popular area in Queens. Its proximity to the city. And I think it's a family area. And who doesn't want to live in an area where families are important? You know, where do you want to live? In Los Angeles, in southern Los Angeles, where it seems like there's the family's not an important thing there. You know, you're seeing people living in tents. And of course, if these people had strong family units, maybe we wouldn't have such a problem, that we wouldn't have so many people on drugs. Obviously, there are many, many factors, and we can't simplify it like that. But the family unit is such an important thing, right? Nihad says, a voice of an authentic American scolding someone. I like it, authentic. The real deal Holyfield, as my dad likes to say. An authentic, oh no, you say that you like the real McCoy. That's my dad's favorite. Both are fine. This is the real deal Holyfield, or this is the real McCoy. Y significa esto es lo auténtico. Okay, real deal Holyfield. He was a boxer. They called him real deal Holyfield. But I think the expression maybe came before that. I'm not too sure. I would have to look into it. So a voice of an authentic American scolding someone, telling him that he disgraced himself and he should be punished and he should be limited to the royal suite. Yeah, I heard something about a royal suite. He has to be decent and he will pay anyway. All right, well, guys, I got to say collectively, you did a wonderful job. We'll listen to those another 2 times in the second half of the show. But right now, we've got to move on to our Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, amigos. It's our Spelling Bee only on the show with no name. And as always, this is a part of the show where I'm going to spell some words for you. Now, I want you to write down these words. And if you don't get them on the first go, don't worry, because I'm going to be cruel. You know, Elvis said, don't be cruel. I don't care. I'm going to be cruel on the first go. The second one, I'm going to be that nice person who's like, oh, apuntate esta. Right. Go ahead. So the first round, I guess we could reserve for our super show with no namers. And the second round is for us, normal people. Again, me incluyo en la categoría de gente normal. Okay. Okay. So here we go, my amigos. This is our Spelling Bee. This is round 1. These will all begin with capital letters. So these are proper nouns. Okay? Here we go with today's Spelling Bee, my amigos. The first word is CAESAR apostrophe S space WAR. The second one is SPANISH space ARMADA. The next one is CIVIL space WAR. The next one is SPANISH space SUCCESSION. The next one is PENINSULAR space WAR. And the last one is SPANISH dash AMERICAN space WAR. I am out of breath. I feel like I just went into battle. Maybe that's a little clue. Yeah, I feel like I just went into battle over here. I can't give you any more clues than that. All right, we'll give you a second or two, see if anybody gets these words. Whoa! This is escalating quickly. Oh, man. Duck. I got you there. Duck, guys. All right, well, it looks like we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. He's missing one capital letter over there, and he even had time to correct it. So let's see if nobody else has it perfectly. This is what I always do in this case, guys. We go for perfect here. So if a lot of people participate, then I can be a stickler. Puedo ser un poco más. All right. So, Born to Iron Man, even though you corrected it, the first one, when you hit send, you're missing a capital letter. Now, should you be punished for that? No way. Not at all. It's excellent. But as I said, let's see where the bar is today. No digo el bar para beber, digo el listón. All right. Next up, Monse. And Monse, you capitalize that word. We got a couple lowercase words in there, but there's a mistake. Your dash, when I said dash, you put underscore. So, all right, let's see. We'll go over here to the next person who participated. And all right, Lemura, you're up next over here. And let's see, Lemura, your words are perfect. Okay. You've got the dash in there. There's just one problem. The second word is supposed to be capitalized too. Maybe I wasn't clear again. Guys, either way, amazing. But again, I can be picky. Thankfully, there's so many people participating that I can be a bit picky. So let's go down and let's see if anybody's got it 110% right. The next person is Lupe. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a winner. She has dotted her I's and crossed her T's. It's Lupe. Wow. I mean, all of you, remarkable. But again, if we're going for perfection, the first one that I saw, that's exactly what I have written here, that is Lupe. So excellent job, Lupe. Also, ESD has got some info for us. He's got some 411. Es otra forma de decir información, porque el número es 411 para información. This was before we had Google, by the way. And he says, in Astoria, Queens, Steinway and Sons, in 1920, the first movie studio opened in Astoria, which later became known as Paramount Studios. There you go, folks. So Steinway and Sons, the famous, that's just some of the history of this amazing area in New York City. All right, well, guys, we're going to go into round two. The good thing is those of you who just made some minor mistakes, well, this is a perfect opportunity to go over them and get them perfect. And Lupe, you can just sit back and relax and have a cup of tea in round two. The first word is CAESAR apostrophe S space WAR. The second one is SPANISH space ARMADA. The third one is CIVIL space WAR. The next one is SPANISH space SUCCESSION. The fourth one is PENINSULAR space WAR. And the last one is SPANISH dash or hyphen AMERICAN space W-A-R. Okay, and as I said, has something to do with wars, with battles. The reason I chose these battles, these conflicts here, is because today in the year 1595, during the French Wars of Religion, I don't remember studying these, but makes sense. 1595, the French Wars of Religion. And this is when Henry IV, el cuarto, of France, declared war on, you guessed it, your homeland, many of you, vuestra patria, Spain. That's right. Well, think about it. Spain's in a very strategic location, isn't it? Right. And then, well, Spain has had a very varied history. I mean, we've had everything from Visigoths to Etruscans, you know, if you want to go really far back. So this Iberian Peninsula, what a strategic place it is. No wonder everybody wants a piece of it. The good thing is right now, I don't think, I hope nobody is trying, that we don't have any big enemies out there, at least any that I know of. So these are Spanish wars and conflicts that we're looking at over here. What we'll do, since we only have about a minute left, we'll take a look at the first one, and then we'll look at the rest of them after the commercial break. The first one is Caesar's Spanish War. I just took out the word Spanish, como el otro tenía Spanish y el otro, and I called it Caesar's War. And when Caesar saw the Spanish woman that he loved, that he'd fallen in love with, he said, Caesar. No. Seize her. To seize is capturar. Seize her. Caesar. La H lo come. Well, in case you didn't know that, César, we don't say César, we say Caesar. Caesar. So, not scissor. No. So, vamos a decir esta frase. Julius Caesar had a pair of scissors. Hey, and did you get the joke then? Seize her. Viene de la palabra seize, que también es parte de la frase carpe diem. Seize the day. All right, well, folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Names. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the Show with No Name. Exclusively on the show on Vaughn Radio. How can the show with no name be on the show with no name? That's right, folks. Catch us on Vaughn Radio. If you don't have the free app, download it. And this way you never miss a beat. Esta expresión lo uso bastante. You never, ever miss a beat. No te pierdes ni una. It's a song by the Kaiser Chiefs, Temazo. If you don't know it, check it out. Kaiser Chiefs, Never Miss a Beat. Another way to make sure you never miss a beat is make sure you're following us on social media. Follow Grupo Vaughn. Follow my buddies who work here, the teachers, the presenters, and of course, follow me. As you know, I'm posting constantly. I post videos on a daily basis because, well, I firmly believe that you have to practice a little bit every day. And even if you learn one little concept a day, you know, whether it's a false friend or an expression or who knows, maybe even a homophone. Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 That's right, amigos. You know it. It is definitely time for our homophones or not section. This is definitely one of the, I don't know, I would say, I was going to say easier sections, but I guess it's easy when you have time to like think about it and, you know, really enjoy it, you know, and when you're in the moment. You know, how many times have my students said something correctly in class, but then later when you're out there, you say, oh, no, really, Joman. Oh, man. So this is just to make sure, not just that you got it now, but next time you're out there, if there is a difference or there's a nuance, un matiz, well, that you know what it is. And also we'll look at other meanings of these words as we always do. All right. The first word, I got this one, by the way, from a documentary. Okay. I pulled it. I was sitting there watching a documentary with my wife. I was on the couch and they said this word and I said, ho, 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 this one's going to be on the show with no name. No doubt about it. So the word is desesperado. Okay. Somebody who needs help. Somebody who needs something urgently, right? Urgente, desesperado, perdido, if we're talking about in a situation, desesperado, right? That's the word. Very similar word, okay? I mean, I guess you would recognize the word if you saw it. And the question is, do you know how to pronounce the word? And our second word is discrepante. Diverso, okay? So in English, some synonyms are dissimilar, varied, right? Variado. We'll look at some examples after, as we always do. So our first word, desesperado, right? I think it's a word, again, many of you might be familiar with. Desesperado, también it can be urgente. We'll take a look. As I said, we'll look at it in context, as we always do. And the second word is dispar, discrepante, okay? Dispar, diverso, okay? This is varied, dissimilar. Okay? Let's see if you guys recognize those two words, and let's see if you know if these words sound the same or not. And in the meantime, mientras tanto, I'm going to give you guys today's Say What soundbite for the third time.
You have disgraced yourself, and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria. And see that he puts on some decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I happen to know that this is a popular movie, not just in the United States. Okay. So it's a popular movie in the whole world, possibly. I know it's a popular movie in Spain, or it was at least. Okay. I'm talking about the Say What soundbite. And the voice, I don't think anybody in the English speaking community would have any doubt in their mind whose voice that is. All right, but that's not the important part. We'll take a look at all that a little bit later on. Let's take a look at our homophones right now, or lack thereof, carencia de. Lemura is the first one to participate. And she says the words, no, Lemura, those aren't the right words. You're giving me a noun, and I gave you an adjective. So we got to start over there, because if not, we're comparing apples and oranges, como va la expresión. Cuando estamos comparando cosas que no son, no tienen nada que ver would be the translation in Spanish. It's apples and oranges. So we could look at those words, but those aren't the ones we're looking at today. So give it another shot, Lemura. I'm sure you can help us out. Let's see. Born to Iron Man. Those are the correct words. Born to Iron Man. And he says they don't sound alike. Okay. Jesus. Those are the words. And Jesus agrees. They don't sound alike. Germán agrees, and those are the correct words. Laura agrees as well. Okay. Interesting stuff here. Right now, all of you unanimously say that these two words don't sound the same. Well, I'm going to tell you in just a moment. But first, I want to send a nice round of applause over to Nihad and Laura for figuring out today's Say What soundbite after the third go. So guess what you guys get to do in the fourth part? Just chill out. Relájate. You're chilling. So excellent job, Nihad and Laura. And let's see if the rest of you did a good job on our homophone section. The first word is desperate. Man, what are you, desperate? Fíjate, hay mucho menos sílabas de lo que aparece. We don't say desperate. We say desperate. Apenas lo pronunciamos. Desperate. What are you, desperate? Man, you must be desperate. You've been desperately, adverbio, right? Desperate. Say it with me. Okay? Desperate. He's desperate to find a job. Desesperado. Desperate. No es desperate, que lo he oído muchas veces. Okay? Just be careful. The adjective is desperate. You seem desperate. Say it with me. Desperate. No es desperate. Ese per es rápido. Desperate. And when things are very different, they're varied, they're disparate. Disparate. So we're desperate for something disparate. Do they sound the same? No way, Jose. So interesting, that one. So similar, but not really. Desperate. You must be desperate, man. Desperate. You've been desperately seeking attention. Desperate. Lo digo muchas veces para que lo digas conmigo. Desperate. I'm desperate for you to say that word. La segunda no se usa tanto, but the first one, make sure you're pronouncing it right. And the second one, disparate. No des. Disparate. Pronunciation's kind of the same. Also, there are some people I think that say disparate, and other people say disparate. But either way, it's not desperate, right? De todas formas, no llega a ser desperate. So this was a really tough one, but I got to say something. You all rose to the challenge. Okay? Rose? But what are you talking about? Rose. Rose? Rosa? No, rose también es el pasado de subir. Rise, rose, risen. So you rose to the challenge. You guys are kicking ass and taking names today. And you know what? I think we're going to have to call the fire department. Or as the British say, the fire brigade. They're the fire brigade, yes. Check out my videos. I've been doing lots of videos with British English lately. But you know me, I love to imitate. And they say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Eso dicen. Imitation is the sincerest or the most sincere, depende cuál te suena mejor. Eso es uno que ambos son correctos. And flattery is halazgos? Flattery. I'm going to look it up over here. Yeah, my students are over there. Put them out. Adulación, cumplidos. Flattery. But you guys know, I'm not flattering you guys. I'm just telling the truth. You are on fire. You're on a roll. Say it however you want to say it. And I think I'm going to reward you with a date to the movies. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie. Oh, and before we start Name That Movie, let's take a look at the words in our spelling bee. I'll give them to you really quickly. We're not going to get into a history lesson or anything like that, especially because the movie's going to start in just a moment. So we got to get over there. But the wars that we looked at in our spelling bee today are Caesar's Spanish War. It's called Caesar's. Ya hemos visto cómo pronunciarlo. Hasta hemos hecho juego de palabras. The next one is the Spanish Armada. I remember studying so much about the Spanish Armada and the Spanish Empire in general and the conquistadores. So that's a big part of our history, as you guys know, not just because, of that, but also the connection with Christopher Columbus. You call him Colón, we call him Columbus, and the Catholic kings. So Spain, huge part of the history of my country. And the Spanish Armada, one of the greatest fleets ever, right? Fleet is, siempre me equivoco, flauta is a flute. And fleet is flota. I think I made a really big mistake one day. I was talking, I'll tell you, hey, así se aprende. Y tuve que parar, todavía no lo tengo claro. But I remember one day I said, me encantaba jugar, hundir la flauta. Ahora no lo digo, ¿ves? Ahora lo digo bien sin querer. But I said, me encanta jugar hundir la flauta. And a couple people wrote to me privately, like, yeah, it's flauta. It sounds like a twisted game that you would play maybe at band camp. So Spanish Armada. Who doesn't know about the Spanish Armada? Then the Spanish Civil War, which, man, is still pretty recent. The American Civil War, when we think about it, it's ancient. It's ancient history for us in our very small timeline. But Spanish Civil War, some of you maybe tuned in now, remember it, or the aftermath of it, las secuelas, right? Or your parents or grandparents were somehow affected by war. Because let's put it this way, there are never any winners in war. Usually young people die and, civilians die, not just soldiers. So I always say there's no winners in war. Then you got the Spanish Succession, the War of Spanish Succession. The next one is the Peninsular War. And the next one, which is the Spanish-American War, where my nationalities duked it out. Donde mis dos nacionalidades se pusieron los guantes. They duked it out. All right, guys, let's take a look at today's movie. I propose we take a look at today's movie. Propongo. Okay, a pushy boss forces her young assistant to marry her in order to keep her visa status in the U.S. and avoid deportation to Canada. Okay? So, a pushy boss. What does pushy mean? Somebody who is agresivo, maybe would be a good word. Aggressive, mira, perfecto. Prepotente, avasallante, avasallador, agresivo. Okay? You're very pushy, ¿no? Que te están como tocando los, right? Think about it that way. You're being really pushy. Great word, okay? A pushy boss obliga, forces her young assistant to marry her, okay? Casarse con ella, in order to, pero si queremos ser más formales, in order to keep her visa status. And visa in the United States, two different things. Visa is a credit card company, and visa is visado, something you need to work in a country. So to keep her visa status, and I want you to look at that word, status. Okay? How do you pronounce that? Status or status? Es una de estas palabras que usamos los dos idiomas, pero cada uno lo pronuncia a su manera. So catering, status, we say status, aunque cuidado, los británicos dicen status, pero no decimos estatus. So ninguno lo decimos a la española. To keep her visa status, dilo conmigo, in the US and avoid deportation to Canada. And to avoid es evitar. Deportation is que te sacan del país, te deportar. You say the same thing? And Canada, just be careful. You say Canada, we say Canada. The pronunciation is a little bit different. So if you're saying it in English, obviously say Canada, not Canada, right? Canada. Let's see. We've got some winners. You caught me. Chris Valrol and Laura. The movie is called The Proposal. I was trying to help you. Te dije, I propose we do name that movie. Propongo. Okay, a proposal is not just something that you do at work. Okay, I handed in, entregué, my proposal. Okay, mi propuesta para negocios, mis planes. ¿Qué propongo? Think about it that way. I propose we do this. This is my proposal for the team. But also to propose is to propose marriage. So a proposal is also cuando dices, will you marry me? And in this case, I think it's got that double meaning, which is kind of interesting there. All right. Well, excellent job to the ladies. This is a movie that stars, what's her name here? Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock. Dos nombres que se pronuncian diferente en español. So, Sandra Bullock, you say? We say Sandra Bullock, lick, como chupar. Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. La Y no lo decimos. It's not Reynolds, it's Ryan Reynolds. And they were friends for 9 years before they started shooting this movie. So there was some chemistry between them. Also, Betty White was in this movie. Betty White? Do you guys know Betty White? You have to know Betty White. She was one of the Golden Girls. ¿Las llamabas las chicas de oro? Betty White. Oh, she was the best one, too. She was the grandma was funny, but she was just the sweetest one, in my opinion. Yes, you caught me. I used to watch the Golden Girls. Can you imagine an adolescent boy watching the Golden Girls? It worked. The series was really popular with all generations. It's a timeless series. And Betty White, man, classic. She's a classic in Hollywood and movies. She was even in commercials as well. And she almost turned down her role in this film, because it would require her to spend 10 weeks away from her golden retriever. So she couldn't take her dog on set. And she said, well, I don't know. I'm not going to leave my dog with a dog sitter or a family member for 10 weeks. And remember, she's at that point now, she passed on, falleció. But she was no spring chicken. Ya no era tan joven. So even just 10 weeks away from home, working hard at that age, it's not easy. It's remarkable. But that's what made her Betty White. And I bet she had fun. Betty. Well, a nickname for Betty is Bet. Hey, Bet. And also Julia Roberts. I mean, she was the it girl at that moment. And she was the first choice to play the role of Margaret. But she refused to take a pay cut because, as I said, she was untouchable at that moment. So Sandra Bullock took over the role. And this was the second movie in that same year. This is for movie buffs. This is a little movie trivia. The second movie in the same year where Julia Roberts was offered the role first and turned it down. And Sandra Bullock got both of those roles. She said, "Oh, you don't want them? I'll take them. I'll be the next it girl." And that other movie was called The Blind Side. It came out in 2009, just like this movie. And Sandra Bullock won a Best Actress Oscar. So I'm sure Julia Roberts was kicking herself. Chris, thank you for the information. She was 99 when she was filming this movie. So incredible. 99. Betty White, you are our heroine. And I don't mean the drug. I mean heroína. Same word, same pronunciation. The difference is heroine, a female hero, has an E on the end, and the drug doesn't, but they're pronounced the same, heroine. My heroines don't do heroin. Mis heroínas no hacen heroína. Oh, is it a homophone in Spanish too? All right, let's take a look at the scene here in this movie. Okay. Chris said she was 99 when she died. So she was in her 90s, basically, when she made this movie. Okay, so Andrew Paxton, the character, says, and it says in the stage direction, ponen las indicaciones, referring to the story about how he proposed to Margaret, refiriéndose a la historia de cómo le propuso casamiento a Margaret. And he says, you know what? Se dice esta muletilla mucho en inglés. You know what? Chicken butt. Eso es de la juventud. You know what? What? Chicken butt. It's not funny at all, but it rhymes. And kids used to catch each other. But let me focus. You know what? Actually, que no es actualmente, es realmente. Actually, y lo usamos a tope, left and right. Actually, Margaret loves telling this story. Le encanta contar esta historia. So I'm just gonna let her go ahead and do that. Voy a dejar que siga adelante. Esto es muy importante. Go ahead. Adelante. Tira. Go ahead. Alberto, can I have a soda? ¿Me das un refresco? Yeah, go ahead. Adelante. So it's a really good one to know. Go ahead. So I'm going to let her go ahead and do that. We should just sit and rapture. Okay. And rapture, now, when I think of the word rapture, I think of Jesus coming back, right? So rapture is ecstasy, embeleso, arrebato, no? This is the one of the meanings. But I think the most common meaning and the one that popped into my mind instantly was the rapture, referring to the Bible. El rapto, el arrebatamiento, they call it, the rapture. Y esa va con mayúscula since it's from the Bible. Okay? So then Margaret says, wow, okay. Wow, well, where to begin? ¿Dónde empezamos? The story. Well, wow. So she's kind of speechless. Okay, well, Andrew and I, Andrés y yo, Andrew and I were about to, hay que saber esta estructura, we were about to celebrate our first anniversary. Okay, nuestro primer aniversario. We were about to celebrate our first anniversary together. And I knew that he'd been itching to ask me to marry him. Okay, if you're itching to do something, tienes muchas ganas, tienes el mono. Okay, que es el picor. Piénsalo. Oh, tengo que rascarlo. Like if you have an itch, you need to scratch it. Hay que satisfacerlo, right? Hay que saciarlo, maybe would be another way to say that. So she's saying he had been itching, no, con muchas ganas, to ask me to marry him. And he was scared. Y tenía miedo. Like a little tiny bird. Tiny, pequeñito, muy pequeño, T-I-N-Y. So I started leaving him little hints, pequeñas pistas, here and there, por ahí, because I knew he wouldn't have the guts, las agallas, the guts to ask para pedirme la mano. Andrew says, that's not exactly how it happened. This is the typical thing when a couple starts telling a story and the other one interrupts and says, well, it's like, so you told me to tell the story, but now you're going to interrupt me every 3 sentences. Okay. Has anybody been in that situation before with their their partner. Remember, couple, los dos, partners, cada uno, right? So Margaret says, no, it didn't happen like that. And Andrew says, no. I mean, I picked up on all of her little hints. Dice, sí, yo estaba captando sus pequeñas pistas. She says, this woman is about as subtle as a gun. Es tan sutil como una pistola. All right, well, folks, we've got to go. I can't believe it. We've got to go to our last commercial break. Yep. We'll be back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name. That's right, amigos. Welcome back to this, the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Can't believe it. I can't believe we're in the fourth part of the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for making it magical. All right, folks. Let's get rocking because we've got so much to do here on the fourth and final part of today's show. The good news, guys, you got Jules Linares and her program, Let's Get Random, right after today's show. And I'll be back tomorrow, as always, Monday through Friday. The show with no name is live. That's why if you guys need to go write your books, you need to go make it happen, we'll be right here waiting for you. As Richard Marx said, thank you very much to my research assistants today who helped me out. That's Chris Valrol and Born to Iron Man. Hey, there's one of me, and I can't look up everything at the same time. And to err is human. Cometer errores es humano. But I hope you don't make any mistakes in today's Double Trouble. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And of course, we're going to take a look at a translation. And this is a translation where you have to use the same word twice. So if normally translations can be a bit challenging, this one's going to be a little bit more because you're limited. You have to use the same word twice. Okay? But I think you guys can handle it. I don't think it'll be too difficult today. I could be wrong. Me dijo que me quiere. Y me dijo que debería esperar sentado al mismo tiempo. Okay? So, me dijo que me quiere y me dijo que debería esperar sentado al mismo tiempo. Y esperar sentado, I mean, no esperes que va a pasar ni hoy ni mañana, o sea, o nunca puede ser. I don't mean literally espera sentado ahí. I mean, no te desesperes. We looked at the word before. Okay. So, me dijo, tough, this structure. This reminds me a little bit too of the structure we looked at in the pop quiz with Kyle Miller. Me dijo que me quiere y me dijo que debería esperar sentado al mismo tiempo. No desesperarme, que quizá nunca iba a pasar. Okay, so it's an idiomatic expression. I don't mean that in the literal sense. Also, guys, I've got to give you your Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. We already got 2 super students who have figured it out. Let's see if you guys can join them.
You have disgraced yourself, and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria. And see that he puts on some decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly.
All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the fourth and final listen of today's Say What soundbite. And as I said, this is such a famous voice. We all know this voice really well, at least in the English-speaking world. Some of you might recognize this person's voice already. But we'll look at that in a moment. We've got our double trouble right now, and I'm taking a look over here, and I haven't gotten anybody who has figured it out yet. Uh-oh. Did I stump you guys? Okay, no, wait. I spoke too soon because Laura's taken a stab at it. All right, Laura, let's see what you got. Let me give it to you guys again, too, just in case. Me dijo que me quiere. Y me dijo que debería esperar sentado. Al mismo tiempo, a la vez. Me dijo las dos cosas. Okay? So Laura says she told me that she holds me dear to her heart. That's not what I have written here, Laura, but that's right. Eso es, me tiene cariño, me quiere. So great. So far, so good. Hasta ahora, todo bien. She told me that she holds me dear to her heart, but she told me not to hold my breath. Laura, unfreaking believable. It's not the one I have, but it's absolutely 120% right. So I'll take it. So what Laura has shown us is that a little creativity goes a long way. Un poco de creatividad da para mucho. So she told me that she holds me dear to her heart, que me tiene mucho cariño, but she told me not to hold my breath. Okay? And if somebody says, so ask me if I'm going to give you $1 million. Ask me, Alberto, ¿me vas a dar $1 million? I'll say, yeah, don't hold your breath. Espera sentado. Not going to happen, right? So here's my version. Does anyone else want to try before I give you my version, which, as I said, will take Laura. She won it fair and square. All right. Well, I put, she told me she loved me and that I shouldn't hold my breath, all in the same breath. So the word I doubled up on was the word breath. Suspiro, respiración. So she told me she loved me. Me dijo que me quería. Right? And that I shouldn't hold my breath. Y que debería esperar sentado. Al mismo tiempo. A la vez. All in the same breath. Y esto es una expresión que estás contradiciéndote un poco, ¿no? No tiene que ser, pero realmente estás diciendo dos cosas a la vez. He said it all in the same breath. Let's take a look. Same breath. In the same breath. It says al mismo tiempo, a un tiempo. So the prime minister denies climate change, right? Él niega que hay cambio climático. And advocates, como verbo, carbon tax in the same breath. So it's to contradict yourself, to say two different things at the same time, right? So in the same breath. You can't tell me you love me and you hate me in the same breath. A la vez. Todo en una. Okay? There you go. Great expression. And also just be careful because breath no lleva E al final. Breathe sí que lleva E, el verbo. So if you make a mistake there, write it down. All right? So it's breathe or take a breath. Otra vez, el que tiene verbo se pronuncia, el que tiene E es verbo y se pronuncia breathe. The reason I'm telling you is I've seen so many students trip up on these two words. Let's move on to another section where we play with words. It's called You're Joking. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking. That's right, amigos. That's right. You're joking only on the show with no name. All right, let's kick off with some jokes from the battlefield. El campo de batalla. That's right. We're going to look at some military jokes today. Why not? All right. Why does the military have a strict dress code for ceremonies and events? Okay. Código de vestimenta, you say? Como hay que ir vestido, a dress code. So why does the military have a strict dress code for ceremonies and events? You know, like galas, dinners, things like that. Well, it's real simple. It's because civilian casualties are not acceptable. No. Why does the military have a strict dress code for ceremonies and events? Well, civilian casualties are not acceptable. Casualties. No. Did anybody get it? I think it's hysterical. I'm serious. So, a strict dress code. Why do they have a strict dress code? Because civilian is alguien que no está en la mili. Civilian casualties are not acceptable. And casual es casual, no es de vestir, es informal. Civilian casualties are not acceptable. And a T is a T-shirt. O sea, no se acepta camisetas informales de civiles. But also, if you say those two words together, casualties, bajas, pérdidas. Laura, you got it. Nice job. Nice job, Laura. Whoa. I'm telling you, you're killing it. Speaking of military, estás arrasando. So, casualties, voy a decir ambas. There were no civilian casualties. No hubo bajas de civiles. There were no civilian, I can't say those three words together, no me sale. There were no, menos mal que no soy militar. There were no civilian casualties. But there were no civilian casualties, separándolos. We're talking about T-shirts. All right. Well, remember, si quieres decir vaya casualidad, you don't say what a casualty. Eso es vaya muerte, vaya pérdida. You would say what a coincidence. So write that one down. It's a false friend. All right, here's another one. What do you call someone who joined the military out of spite? De rencor, right? If you're spiteful, eres rencoroso. So what would you call somebody who joined the military out of spite? Oh, easy. You would call them a petty officer. No, a petty officer. All right, officer is oficial, and a petty officer is suboficial. Okay, it says here suboficial, petty officer. Okay, But what does the word petty mean then? There's got to be a double meaning. Absolutely. Petty is also baladí, okay? Insignificante, mínimo, right? If you're petty, you do things for, oh, come on, man. That attitude is petty, okay? It's not a good idea to be petty, okay? Not serious. Mezquino, cruel, malvado. También, right? So it's not a good word. Even though Tom Petty is an excellent artist, his last name is not a positive adjective. So do you get it now? That double usage of petty officer, suboficial, un oficial malvado, baladí, right? Cruel, mezquino. No, I thought it was funny. What do you call someone who joined the military out of spite? A petty officer. That's petty, man. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. Do things for the right reasons, right? Okay, last one, and I promise this is the last one. Why didn't the soldier tell anyone about his rank in the military? Okay, why didn't the soldier tell anyone about his rank in the military? Oh, easy. It was private. It was private. Private, privado, era un secreto. It's private. All right, but where's the joke here? Well, also a private es un soldado raso. Thank you, private. Do you get it now? Privado, soldado raso. Okay, well, let me explain it now that I explained the joke. It always helps to hear it again, right? Now that you get the joke. So why didn't the soldier tell anyone about his rank in the military? Easy. It was private. All right, guys, we've got to move on. It's time for another section, a section where we celebrate. It's called Famous Birthday Trivia. That's right, amigos. You know it. It is time for today's show with no name, Famous Birthday Trivia. Let's see if you can figure out who these famous people are. I've probably given you a few clues along the way. Did you pick up on those clues? Para usar la frase que vimos en Name That Movie. ¿Piaste those hints, those clues? ¿Las piaste? ¿Las has ido captando? Did you pick up on them? Well, we'll find out right now. The first person was born in 1960 and an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist known for co-founding the pop group Berlin. Now, they did a good job there because I thought Berlin was from Germany. The group Berlin was from Germany, but no, they're from the United States and they started in California. They were originally called The Toys, but then they changed it to Berlin. And then the band stayed together for about 3 years after they changed their name. It's the band started, as I said, in California in 1978. I'm not too familiar with their songs. One of them is called The Metro. The other one is called Sex, I'm a. The next one is No More Words. And the next one I'm definitely familiar with because it was from the movie Top Gun. Walking in slow motion, even if you take you home, take my breath away. We looked at the word breath before. We looked at don't hold your breath. And to contradict yourself is to say two things in the same breath. And we're not going to mix it up with breathe, are we? Okay, good. Take my breath away. Dun, dun, dun. I always got to find some way to stick Top Gun in there, right? Okay, or planes or something like that. Next up, she was born in 1922. She was an American actress, game show panelist, TV personality, and she was also an animal rights activist. Okay, she died when she was 99 years old. Oh no, I'm not doing the math. Grace Valrol did the math already for you guys. So we mentioned this person. She was one of the Golden Girls, of course, but she was on so many other shows aside from the Golden Girls. She was also in the romantic comedy The Proposal, which came out in 2009, which was today's Name That Movie. So if you guys were paying attention, I said her name. And also, for her lengthy es muy largo, for her lengthy work in radio, TV, and film, she earned the Guinness World Record for the longest TV career by a female entertainer in 2014 and 2018. So she's awesome. Absolutely. And last but not least, this guy was born in 1931. He did the voice of Darth Vader. He didn't play the character. He did the voice or voiced Darth Vader. He was also in, if you guys have you seen Coming to America? You call it El Príncipe de Zamunda with Eddie Murphy? Well, he plays the dad. He plays the king. King Jafar or something. The big guy, you know that big black guy? That's the voice of Darth Vader. And no matter what role he does, even though he's a tremendous actor, you know it's him. In fact, one of my favorites that he does, and I hate CNN, odio, detesto CNN, but he goes, "This is CNN." And you're just like, oh my God, that's amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner here. Please give it up for Chris Valrol. Nice job, Chris. Number one is John Crawford from the group Berlin. Number two is Betty White. And number three, James Earl Jones. Got the greatest voice ever. I mean, James Earl Jones. And she says, not an earl, but a king. Me encanta. Buen juego de palabras ahí. And earl is another way to say conde. She goes, he's not an earl, he's a king. Wow. Great play on words there, Chris. All right. Well, now that we know our famous birthday boy, boys and girls, let's take a look at our famous birthday boy. That was today's Say What soundbite. And this is James Earl Jones. That's right. Darth Vader. But he's not playing Darth Vader. Pero si cierras los ojos, es Darth Vader. And this is him catching his assistant, because remember, his son is Eddie Murphy, the prince. And this is like the prince's assistant, his personal assistant. And he catches him and he's upset and he punishes him. But for normal people, this would not be a punishment. So, as Laura pointed out, and he says, "You have disgraced yourself and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria." The Waldorf Astoria is a famous hotel chain. Okay, the Waldorf. But Astoria is also in Queens. But the Waldorf Astoria you can find all around the world. And see that he puts on some decent attire. See to it, haz que lo haga, no? See to it that he does this. See to it that he puts on some decent attire. Vestimenta, ropa. See to it that he puts on some decent attire, decente. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly. Okay? And I want you to bathe him. Quiero que le limpies, le lavas concienzudamente, completamente. And that's like a recurring joke in the movie, that these guys have royal bathers. Tienen chicas que le lavan, you know? So there's always that running joke in this movie. I love the movie. You call it El Príncipe de Zamunda. We call it Coming to America. But it's a classic, a cult classic. And did you know that the dad, the king, is the voice of none other than the best bad guy ever, Darth Vader? Here he is in the movie Coming to America. It's birthday boy James Earl Jones.
You have disgraced yourself, and you must be punished. You will confine yourself to our royal suite at the Waldorf Astoria. And see that he puts on some decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It is Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And I can't believe it, but we have reached the end of today's show. I just want to thank you guys again today and every day for being the greatest students a teacher could ask for. And I'm not just saying that. I think I speak on behalf of all of us here at Vaughn Radio. Keep up the great work. You're making us proud, and you should be proud of yourselves and of each other. The way you guys are always cheering each other on, it is admirable. So don't just keep up the English stuff, keep being awesome people as well. And remember to stay tuned, keep it here on Vaughn Radio. If you have our app, follow us on social media, and don't forget to play around with Amazon, with Alexa later, and let me know how it goes. And I'm going to give you guys today's Name That Lyric because we just have about a minute or so. It's Berlin and Take My Breath Away. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, doom, doom. Take my breath away. And let's take a look at the lyrics. I'm laughing because I love the movie, but it is a cheesy song. Es un poco cursi, right? But hey, it's beautiful. Watching every motion in my foolish lover's game. Estoy mirando todos los movimientos en mi juego de amantes tonto, ¿no? On this endless ocean, finally lovers know no shame. En este océano, mar sin fin, por fin los amantes no tienen vergüenza. Turning and returning, girando y volviendo, no devolviendo, y volviendo to some secret place inside. Watching in slow motion, mirando a cámara lenta, as you turn around and say, everybody, take my breath away. Boom, boom, boom. All right, my amigos, thank you so much. You take my breath away every day. Keep up the great work, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. I promise.